I believe the American dream is not only still attainable, I think it's more attainable than it's ever been in history.
Yes, the American dream is still attainable. I'm living proof of it.
I think it's harder in our country now than it has been in the past to have financial freedom and stability because of the division of labor that has happened. So you have to have a certain level of skill to be able to enter our job market and get a job that is stable for a long period of time. And I think in past cases and earlier in our history, there were more opportunities to come into lower skill jobs, meaning with less technical skill, and still be able to be on a path to develop financial stability, raise a family. That is getting harder and harder, I think. So I think income inequality has certainly grown. And if you look at a city like ours, it's pretty easy to see, right? In Boston, we're a thriving city with a lot of high income earners. We have a lot of great industry here. We have medical, biomedical, pharmaceutical, technology. And on the one hand, that's great. The more companies that come into a city, the more jobs there are for people who are highly educated and highly skilled. And meanwhile, that drives housing prices up because lots of people who are highly educated and highly skilled want to live here to get those jobs. And that makes it harder for working class, traditionally working class families. Like if you think of someone who's generationally been living here for a long time, like I live in Dorchester, some neighborhoods in Dorchester where I live, there are people who are moving into Dorchester who have quite a bit of money. And then there are families that have been there for a while who no longer can afford the rent in the building they've been living in for a while with the job they've had for a long time because rents are being driven upward. And that exists because of the inequality. So I think income inequality is very real in our country. It's very real in all of the largest cities.
With income inequality, it's a problem that is growing and it is being overlooked a good amount now. There's a statistic, I think, from the Pew Research Center. 1 in 5 children in America are born beneath the poverty line, beneath the federal poverty line.
There's not enough housing inventory that is affordable for the whole range of people who live in our city. So most inventory that is built is being built in areas that are popular, so in high demand. And the high demand geographical areas that are being built up tend to be near places that are these employment areas. So a lot of people are buying up property in those parts of the city and driving out the residents who previously lived there. And it's becoming harder and harder for people who are not high income earners to afford to live in Greater Boston. And that means they have to go elsewhere to find a place that they can afford to live. And that means that their commute is longer if they want to have a job at one of these great companies in the city.
What we found in looking at the data is roughly 1.6 million families, that's in the top 1%. They earn 25 times the average income of the bottom 99% of families, which is roughly 161 million families in the country. So that's the national level of inequality.
I believe, I don't know what the saying is, the arc of progress, over time, I think it will all end up okay. Right now, I think we're seeing our country in this push and pull of like what we really value and who we really are, where equality is concerned. And that's not just about income, but about a lot of things. And I think ultimately in the long run, progress, I think of the long game when I think of progress. And I think equality is something that is baked into the values of America, in my mind. So we'll get there in the long run, but we have to figure out the income piece now.
America is a constantly changing country, and as it changes, its inhabitants should as well, and specifically its leaders, because there can be change within people, but there can also be that change needs to translate to a change in our systems.